Chosen one, stop scrolling. Take a breath. Because this, right here, right now, isn't just another moment passing you by. This is your moment. You didn't land here by accident, and you already feel it deep down, don't you? That pull in your chest. That little spark telling you something big is about to shift. Let me tell you something. You are not ordinary. You were never meant to blend in, to settle, to just exist and watch life happen. You were handpicked, called, set apart for something so much bigger than you've dared to imagine. You are part of a rare, unstoppable wave of chosen souls who are here to shake the ground, break the limits, and rewrite what's possible. So lean in. Listen closely, because what's coming, it's already in motion, and it's coming for you. A silent current is reshaping the fabric of existence, pulling everything toward a horizon that few can even perceive. Some will overlook it, too absorbed in their own noise to notice. But there are a few, those attuned to the subtle hum beneath reality, who will recognize it. This is a rare invitation, extended to those prepared to walk into the unknown and claim what waits beyond the veil. Looking for purpose and peace? Hit subscribe and start the journey. To truly grasp this turning point, it's essential to learn how to move with its rhythm rather than resist. Let thought, intuition, and resolve open wide enough to catch the torrent of possibilities already gathering around you. Invisible pathways are assembling, encounters are being choreographed, and what once seemed impossible will align with a precision that defies explanation. But this moment does not reward passivity. It demands conscious engagement. Stop for just a breath and carry out 3 decisive actions. Affirm your readiness by sending a small signal outward, a gesture of willingness to participate. Join the momentum of others walking the same path, and declare your alignment with the unfolding. Mark this turning point with a symbolic number, letting it serve as your beacon. If the call resonates within you, it will feel impossible to turn away now. Those who linger through to the final word will find a quiet knowing deep within that this was written with them in mind all along. Some will drift off here, and that is their choice. Yet those who remain, absorbing every drop, will never return to who they were before. Something within them already understands. This is the threshold, and everything set in motion until now has led here. Elsewhere, beyond what senses can register, a hidden record is being revealed, a tapestry woven with the names of those summoned for something extraordinary. Against all odds, your name glows among them. Sit with that reality for a moment. You have been chosen, not by chance, but by the quiet intelligence that orchestrates everything. This is not a random occurrence, but a precise summons into a story that only you can inhabit. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. Every twist of your path, every stumble, every triumph was guiding you here all along. The magnitude of this recognition cannot be overstated. Throughout time, ordinary individuals have found themselves swept into extraordinary roles they never imagined, and you now stand among them. Every scar, every joy, every lesson you've endured was shaping you into someone capable of standing at this very juncture. Feel the weight of this calling, as unseen forces acknowledge your readiness and turn their gaze toward you. Every movement that matters begins beyond the boundaries of the self, a larger pattern that quietly threads through lives and moments, drawing them into a shared design. What unfolds now isn't centered on one person alone, but on a wave of change that gathers many into its rhythm. Invisible forces shift people and circumstances into position, arranging the next chapter like pieces on a vast board. A turning point approaches, not a distant dream, but something already breathing its way closer, sparked by the realization that this moment has chosen its witnesses, and that awareness alone alters everything. An unseen tremor runs across everything, rearranging what seemed fixed and breaking through what once stood still. This is not a faraway phenomenon, but a force alive in this very heartbeat. It may surface as a faint vibration under your skin, a restlessness that makes ordinary things feel strangely out of place, an unshakable sense that something has already begun. These are not random flukes of emotion. They are the quiet clues of a deeper shift surging into view. What once held firm begins to crumble, replaced by a momentum that no resistance can suppress. Think of those moments in history when clarity swept through multitudes like wildfire. This is that essence, reborn here. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. But this time it descends differently. It arrives with a precision crafted for one singular journey. A hidden architecture is being assembled beneath the surface, recalibrating thought, reshaping the stage, and rewriting the surroundings to reveal a role only one can occupy. It's as if the world itself is adjusting its spotlight, preparing for the entrance of someone meant to illuminate the path for others. This isn't borrowed or general. It's carved for an individual to rise as guide, healer, and source of strength. This rising doesn't ask permission or wait for conditions to feel perfect. It demands motion even when the mind protests or the heart hesitates. There may be discomfort, unease, even fear, all part of the metamorphosis that asks everything familiar to be set aside. Like pressure forging a diamond out of rough stone, this stage is necessary, even if awkward. It marks the crossing into a cycle where identity, purpose, and vision expand beyond anything known before. What begins now has already broken the horizon. The invitation is toward a life no longer confined to small imaginings, a dimension more vast than anything imagined before. When the spark is lit within, it sends a burst of awareness through even the darkest corners of doubt. It might first appear as a strange clarity, a sudden hunger to uncover meaning, or an inner certainty that change has already begun. That flicker isn't accidental. It signals the dawn of something much larger, the opening steps on a path that reshapes everything it touches. This unfolding is magnificent yet exacting. It asks for readiness in thought and in essence, in ways that may feel unfamiliar at first. The mind must be cleared of the residue it has carried, old fears, stale patterns, borrowed doubts, and filled instead with words and visions that sustain growth and possibility. The inner landscape must be tended through practices that nourish connection to the unseen. Stillness, reflection, presence, and intention form the scaffolding of this transformation. Awakening does not arrive all at once. It is a steady emergence, full of moments when clarity flickers and fades before returning stronger. The journey asks for patience as the quiet ember inside swells into a steady flame bright enough to light the way ahead. Make your impact eternal. Join now and be a light in someone's darkness. Something deep inside has begun to awaken, as though a hidden signal finally reached its mark. A quiet motion rises from within, elusive yet undeniable, threading through thoughts and senses in ways words can barely touch. It feels as if unseen forces are weaving through the very layers of being, awakening corners that have long slept in silence. At times, it arrives as unexpected warmth rushing through, at others as tears spilling without clear reason. But this is no accident. It is the deliberate stirring of something greater, calling forth what has been waiting beneath the surface all along. The unseen realms have started to dissolve what no longer serves, shaking loose ancient weights and dissolving walls built from pain and hesitation, making space for what comes next. This inner unraveling might feel disorienting, even frustrating, as though the familiar ground has been pulled away. Yet that disarray is necessary. Each wave of feeling dismantles what confined you, clearing the way for an entirely new presence to take hold. Throughout history, countless seekers, visionaries, and wanderers endured such storms before their illumination, learning to sit in the disquiet and trust its purpose. This path is no different. Let these invisible currents move through like a cleansing wind through an old house, sweeping away the layers of what you once thought you were. When the mind feels crowded, emotions tangle into knots, and focus slips like water through your hands, remember, nothing has gone wrong. This chaos marks the beginning of alignment. Whenever someone is poised for breakthrough, the inner and outer worlds must adjust, often churning up turbulence in the process. This is not a weakness. It is a testament that the transformation has already begun. The so-called breakthrough is not a myth wrapped in hope. It is a quiet certainty, and its arrival is intentional. Being part of this hidden roster is not arbitrary. It is a declaration that something has been entrusted to you. That knowledge is not meant to weigh you down, but to fortify you when the fog thickens and the way forward seems unclear. This confusion is only the moment before clarity blooms, a faint haze that precedes the first light. Trust that what is meant for you is already in motion, arriving exactly when it must. When noise threatens to drown out that quiet center, remember that this unsettled stage is part of the design and resolution lies just ahead. In a world of endless motion and constant demands, some of the most profound changes are born only in stillness. This is the time to step away from the clamor, to withdraw into calm not as retreat, but as preparation. By quieting the mind and softening into presence, the space is cleared for what cannot enter through haste or distraction. In that stillness, extraordinary things unfold. If your heart overflows with divine love, now is the moment to let it shine. Click the super thank you button on YouTube and give $50 or more to help carry God's light to others. Your gift will bless not only your life, but countless others. You are part of His sacred plan. Your kindness may be the answer to someone's prayer. Share your blessings and honor His kingdom. May His grace guide you always. There exists a hidden doorway between the visible and the unseen, and stepping through it changes everything. This is not about simply calming the mind or escaping stress. It is an intentional, living practice that draws wisdom from beyond what the eyes can perceive. Within this quiet space, insight arises, healing begins, and the answers long sought after find their way through the silence. What is waiting in that stillness is not distant or delayed. It is already pressing close, ready to reveal itself to anyone who dares to sit and listen. Just as ancient seekers retreated to remote hills and quiet valleys to renew themselves, so too must one carve out a private refuge. Let it become a daily ritual. Sit where the noise cannot reach you. Breathe and invite what is greater than yourself to fill the space. Resist the instinct to crowd the moment with restless thought. Instead, trust the quiet to work on you in ways you can't yet name. Change rarely arrives like thunder. It often slips in gently, as a soft shift, a barely there realization, or a quiet opening. Stay present long enough, and what was hidden will unfold before you. An awakening always asks more than observation. It demands deliberate choice and steady practice. What emerges now will not simply settle into your hands. It comes to those who ready themselves for it. Certain actions set the stage for what's to come, not as suggestions, but as foundational habits that align life with the breakthrough already on its way. Begin by releasing grudges and unspoken resentments. They are stones that weigh down the spirit. Clear the spaces around you of anything that dims your energy or clouds your focus. Let your surroundings reflect the clarity you seek. Dedicate moments each day to sit with your thoughts and write them down. Let your words become a mirror for what is growing inside you. Give freely even when it stretches you. This openness draws unexpected blessings. Guard your time and energy by saying no to people or habits that drain your light. Finally, focus your mind on what is possible, not what is broken. Let hope become the backdrop of your inner world. These steps, taken with honest intention, create the ground where the extraordinary can take root. The choices you make today set the pace for the arrival of what you've been waiting for. Among all these tools, generosity emerges as one of the most potent forces you can wield. Offering what you have to someone else in need isn't merely kindness. It disrupts stagnation and invites abundance to flow in ways unseen. Giving without calculation or expectation aligns you with a deeper rhythm, and that rhythm responds with a grace that surprises. This principle has echoed through the ages, showing that even the smallest offering given with sincerity can shift the trajectory of one's life. What matters is never the size of the gesture, but the spirit in which it is given. When generosity becomes a habit, it clears internal resistance, untangles unseen knots, and draws unseen favor close. These moments of giving plant seeds into a field that eventually blooms when least expected. Breakthrough is not something to chase. It rises up to meet those who freely bless others. Offer what you can, without hesitation, and watch what comes rushing back toward you. The path ahead demands a renewal that begins within, a clearing of what lingers and holds you back from the next stage of your journey. Just as the air feels lighter after a storm washes the earth clean, the spirit too craves release from the residue of the past. Let this become your ritual, a symbolic act that clears away what no longer belongs. Pour clear water through your hands and imagine it stripping away layers of old grief, hesitation, and invisible weight. It is not the water itself that transforms, but your willingness to let go as it passes over you. This gesture becomes more than routine. It opens space for something larger to flow in, sweeping through your mind and surroundings alike. Sprinkle it into corners where shadows seem to cling, and feel the atmosphere shift as if the room itself exhales. Let go of the burden of regret by naming it and sending it away, like paper set adrift on a river. With each step, you unshackle yourself from what once anchored you and step forward lighter, more open to what waits beyond. Renewal begins when the layers fall away. What feels like hardship is not defeat, but the very material your growth is built upon. Every challenge leaves a trail that reveals where you've been and points toward what you've yet to become. Take those tangled thoughts and write them into existence, not to dwell on them, but to release their grip and make sense of their meaning. What once felt like chaos becomes something you can hold, study, and reshape. Those who rise into their potential rarely do so without first walking through difficulty. Stories of triumph are written not in ease, but in perseverance, in the moments one refuses to quit despite the weight. Let each written line serve as a record of how far you've come, a map that traces the wisdom you've earned. Turn those pages into quiet declarations that even this, the pain, the confusion, the struggle, is being woven into something that will carry you forward. Your willingness to confront and let go of these moments transforms them into fuel for what's next. Even when it seems nothing is moving, unseen hands are already arranging what's to come. The details of your life are not abandoned to chance. They are being shaped with care by forces beyond your sight. What appears to you as stillness is actually a quiet orchestration, connections forming, doors unlocking, and the right people stepping closer without you yet knowing. Picture your life as a canvas being painted stroke by stroke. From where you stand, it may look like scattered colors and incomplete shapes, yet each line is deliberate, each shade intentional. Favor is not always loud or immediate. Often it moves softly, settling into place long before it reveals itself to you. What unfolds is not random, but the result of an intricate design, pushing you toward a horizon you've yet to see clearly. Trust that what is being prepared behind the scenes already carries your name, and know that every moment of patience draws you closer to stepping into the fullness of that plan. A sacred shift begins in the spaces you inhabit, for they mirror the quiet undercurrents of your inner life. What surrounds you is not just scenery, but a canvas that absorbs and reflects your energy. If left crowded or stagnant, it traps the flow of possibility. Imagine each room as an open field waiting for new seeds. Unless cleared, nothing fresh can take root. This is why you are called to consciously transform your environment, not only to tidy but to infuse it with intention. Each act of cleaning, rearranging, and releasing carries a quiet power, signaling to what's beyond that you're ready to receive. Even the smallest corners can hold fragments of old chapters, belongings heavy with forgotten emotions or distractions that dilute your focus. Remove what drains the atmosphere. Let the walls breathe again. This is your way of preparing the ground, creating a setting that invites something greater to enter and move freely. What once felt stale becomes alive when treated as sacred. The storms of emotion can be fierce, yet they don't have to govern what you become. This season calls you to develop a steady core, not by ignoring feeling, but by learning to hold stillness amid the waves. When fear or frustration rises, it stirs the surface, but beneath, you can cultivate a calm that holds firm. Picture yourself not resisting the storm, but rooted deeply enough that the winds cannot carry you away. This stillness isn't emptiness, it's quiet strength. It lets you discern clearly, choose wisely, and stand grounded no matter what happens outside of you. When practiced, this calmness becomes a shelter, allowing what is meant for you to find its way without being scattered by reaction. As the unseen currents around you intensify, so too must your awareness of what drains and what fortifies. Not all connections, not all voices deserve equal access to your energy. This time calls for discernment, for constructing invisible walls where necessary. Not to isolate yourself, but to preserve what you are building. Some people and situations can siphon your strength if left unchecked. Boundaries are an act of reverence for your journey. Guard your hours, your attention, your emotional space with care. Decline invitations that dim your spirit. Keep close only what nourishes your growth. Regular practices, moments of reflection, solitude, intentional gratitude become your shield, protecting the delicate progress you're making from corrosion. With each choice, you reinforce a sanctuary that keeps you aligned and unshaken. What ultimately defines the pace and scope of your unfolding is how you respond when the next step is revealed. This moment requires more than hope. It demands willingness to act, even when the path ahead seems veiled. Saying yes despite uncertainty is not blind. It's trust that the larger design holds more than what you can yet see. Obedience here is not about submission to rules, but about leaning into faith, choosing to follow the pull forward, even when it disrupts what's comfortable. Just as countless wayfinders before you walked away from the familiar to embrace what waited beyond, so too you must step through the doorway before knowing what lies on the other side. Each step taken in trust unlocks doors that could never be forced. Each act of courage invites more of the extraordinary to flow toward you. The next chapter is being written even now, and it responds to how you choose to move. Every choice made in this moment inscribes itself upon the unseen chronicle of your existence. This record is not a passive archive, but a living blueprint, marking devotion, resolve, and how you withstand the unseen trials. Even in moments of invisibility, when it feels like your presence barely ripples the world, understand that everything is accounted for. Each step carries weight, shaping the contours of what waits ahead. To move with clarity means recognizing that today's smallest decision echoes into the blessings of tomorrow. It demands boldness even when the path vanishes beyond view. And though you may not yet see it, others are finding direction by following the quiet trail you leave behind. Like a guide crossing uncharted ground, walk with quiet authority and trust the wisdom that charts your way. This walk draws its strength from an unshakable trust. A trust that holds fast even as everything beneath your feet shifts. Faith becomes the steady center that anchors you when storms press from all sides. The unknown may feel endless, but each step taken in belief lays stones toward impossible horizons. What feels uncertain now is weaving a future you cannot yet envision. These moments, both fragile and profound, become your story. And when the culmination comes, you'll look back and understand how even the most difficult ground led you to a place of triumph. The record of this journey will tell of how you persisted long before the finish line was in sight. At this point in your path, the silence around you will begin to hum with meaning. The nights will awaken with symbols and messages arriving unbidden, offering clarity where none seemed possible before. These communications move beyond logic. They are windows into what lies ahead, stitched with insight, caution, and strength meant just for you. They arrive like quiet visitors, sometimes in fragments, sometimes in brilliant clarity, but always purposeful. Keep them safe. Record what you see and feel in those moments, no matter how strange or incomplete. The most remarkable revelations often emerge from what seems at first indecipherable. What visits you now is part of an ongoing dialogue between what is seen and what is still becoming. At times, what you receive may unsettle you or challenge what you thought you knew. Yet these messages are invitations, not threats. Ask for understanding. Lean into the mystery and let it guide you toward what you're becoming. Even in times of doubt, these visions are threads of reassurance, weaving strength and hope directly into your being. The weight of what came before you rests in your hands now. You are called not just for yourself, but to untangle the knots that have bound generations before you. This is not a simple task. It is a sacred responsibility to interrupt inherited pain and create something new. The work of unbinding family wounds calls for courage and tenderness alike. It asks you to face the echoes of past harm, to offer forgiveness where silence once ruled, and to stand firmly as you turn away from patterns that no longer serve. Your commitment plants seeds of change in soil once barren. Every act of repair you undertake strengthens the ground for those who follow after. Step by step, you lay the foundation for a story no longer ruled by what came before. This healing may unfold slowly, a quiet process requiring persistence and grace, but every effort reshapes the path of those yet to come. This calling to repair the chain is a privilege and a trust. As you step into this battle, know you are armed with everything you need. Your victory reverberates backward and forward, transforming what was once captivity into a chorus of renewal and joy. Something within you longs for clarity, a deeper connection that cannot be reached through ordinary routines. This practice of deliberate abstinence becomes more than withholding. It is an offering of space, a deliberate quieting of distractions to invite something higher to speak. When the noise of daily habits fades, you begin to hear what was waiting beneath all along.